Our story began at a gigantic magical tree, and below it was a castle. Meanwhile, a group of wyverns were chasing a black cat. The wyvern was near the black cat, but he was determined to protect his kitten and couldn't let the master of the tree take his child. Suddenly, the wyvern struck its claw at the black cat, but luckily the black cat quickly avoided its attack. Then the black cat summoned his wings, as they needed to escape as far away as possible. So the black cat started to float in the air, and the wyvern was surprised that their prey could fly. The black cat started to fly away from where the wyvern was. After a long ride, the sunrise on the mountain, and the black cat spotted a cave near them. So he quickly landed on the ground and headed to the cave. The black cat immediately runs towards the cave. As they entered inside, the black cat quickly checked every corner of the cave, while his kitten kept calling him. Then, the black cat decided to put his kitten on the ground, as he knew this place seemed safe for them, and his kitten was shaking its body due to the long ride. But then, his kitten was trembled in fear and asked where are they, and the black cat didn't answer its questions, but instead he told him that he must wait there. That had something to do. Upon hearing it, the kitten disagreed with it and explained that he wanted to go with him, and he didn't want to be alone in the cave. The black cat tapped his head as he apologized and told him that he couldn't go with him. Then he explained he couldn't protect his mother, so he couldn't risk losing him too, causing his kitten to cry. The black cat assured his kitten that he would be back, and this was his request, that he must wait there. Shortly after, the black cat immediately left the cave, while his kitten felt sad as he was walking away from the cave. Soon after, his kitten was completely left alone in the cave, and he started to cry as he waited for his father to come back. As time goes by, and it is when the sun goes down, the kitten is looking at the entrance and keeps calling his dad, but his dad doesn't get into the cave. So when the night came, the kitten slowly fell asleep, but his dad didn't come back. The next day, the kitten woke up and started to stretch its body. Then, he sat down and complained that he was hungry. All of a sudden, someone threw a piece of fruit inside the cave, which the kitten immediately confused. Then it continues to throw a lot of fruits on the floor. The kitten was surprised there were a lot of fruits on there, and timed that he was also hungry at the same time. But then he was confused as to why the fruits lined up like that. Upon his close look, he knew it was kind of suspicious since he was super hungry. He thought it was fine when he ate one of the fruits. As he was about to eat the fruit, suddenly the black cat pushed him away and telling that it was dangerous, which he was confused about. It turns out that it was a trap, and the wyvern that chased them earlier suddenly appeared in the cave as he tried to catch the kitten. But luckily his dad came at the right time to save him. So, the black cat summoned his power and struck it to the wyvern, causing it to slash his neck thoroughly. Because of that, they managed to kill the wyvern and fell to the ground. Meanwhile, the black cat was thankful even though it was close, and his kitten was shaking due to the fear. Then, the black cat asked if he was okay, and the kitten explained that he tried to use his magic, but it wouldn't come out. Upon observing it, the black cat knew he was fine and that he must take some deep breaths because magic only works once he is focused, so he told his kitten he would teach him proper breathing later, while the kitten was still anxious. But then the black cat planned that for now they needed to get out of the cave as soon as possible, and saw the open hole of the cave above. Then the black cat summoned his wings and started to fly above, and they left the cave. All of a sudden, a wyvern saw them, and the black cat knew it was another ambush, and the wyvern started to approach him. To his surprise, 2 wyverns were approaching him, and the kitten warned his dad there was one behind them. So the black cat decided that since no time to waste, he'd take them out in one go. Then he summoned his swords and started to slash them. He managed to slash his swords at the 2 wyverns, causing them to be beheaded. Because of that, the black cat struggled with his magic power, and his wings started to lose away. But then, the kitten shouted that another wyvern was coming towards them. Hearing it, the black kitten had no choice, and he started to hug his kitten tightly, as he knew he couldn't dodge the wyvern attack. Because of that, the wyvern managed to strike its claw at the black cat, causing the black cat to endure the pain. Seeing it, the kitten started to cry as that his dad had been hit by the wyvern, while the blood started to drop. Meanwhile, a man saw that scene, as the wyvern was chasing the endured black cat. The man was confused about why there were wyverns in this forest, but due to his curiosity, the man decided to check it out. As they were falling, the black cat changed his position where the kitten would be saved. They were tossed on the ground, but the black cat managed to hit himself through the rocks instead of his child. Enduring his pain, the black cat quickly stood up and walked out of the place, since he knew his magic was running low and his wound was bleeding so badly. The black cat headed to a small cave, while the blood on his wound dripped on the ground, and his kitten kept calling his name. Even though he was exhausted, the black cat managed to enter the small cave and put down the kitten, while the kitten asked if he was okay. As they entered, the black cat told his kitten that he was okay and just needed a little rest, causing the kitten to shed a tear as he knew the black cat was in danger. The blood was flowing from his wound, and he assured his kitten that if he rested a little, he'd be fine. Meanwhile, the wyvern was about to land on the ground. As the wyvern landed on the ground, he kept looking around if he would see the black cat and his kitten. Then he noticed the blood drips on the ground. Then the wyvern decided to follow the blood, and where it stopped, as he knew it was the blood of the black kitten. On the other side, the black cat took his rest for a while the kitten was crying that the black cat was not okay at all. As he was looking at the hole in the cave, suddenly, the wyvern appeared in the small hole, surprising them. Because of that, the kitten shouted as he was scared by the appearance of the wyvern. So the wyvern shouted at them as well. Suddenly, a sharp spear-like weapon pierced its mouth, and it quickly opened like a blade formed that could be stuck to the mouth of the wyvern. Then he pulled his weapon, causing the wyvern to be turned around. It turns out it was the man earlier, as he managed to shoot his spear on the wyvern, saying he must look in his direction. However, the man's weapon didn't stick for too long, due to the force of the wyvern, and completely removed from its mouth. The man kneeled on the ground and pulled his weapon back to its original form, which he knew that he put some damage on the wyvern. But then, the wyvern got infuriated and rushed towards the man. Thus, the man managed to avoid its attack, and the wyvern bit the tree, causing its mouth to get stuck on the tree. So the man grabbed the opportunity and pulled his sword out. Shortly after, the man managed to swing his sword over the wyvern's head, leading to his fatal death. The wyvern had fallen on the ground, and the man told him that he had no right to complain since he left his habitat. Afterward, the man was looking at the wyvern corpse, causing him to wonder why it was watching the crevice between the rocks. So, the man decided to follow the blood stains on the floor, and due to his curiosity, he checked the little cave on it. As he was going to see it, suddenly the kitten attacked the man, which caused him surprised and lose his balance at the same time. Upon seeing it, the man was surprised that it was a kitten, while the kitten was aggressively fighting the man. The man grabbed the kitten from his face, and he was confused as to why the wyvern chasing a cat, as he started to question if wyverns eat cats too. The man thinks might be it might not, but he notices the kitten has no wounds and bloodstains inside the little cave. So the man decided to put his hands on the little cave, since he couldn't check it using his eyes, and he knew something was inside there. Suddenly, the kitten started to summon his magic power, and a green aura was emerging on its body. The kitten fires his magic power on the man, causing the man to get frightened. Soon after, a huge explosion occurred in the place, and the man's helmet was tossed into the air. A heavy smoke had occurred on the place, and the man's helmet landed on the ground. As the smoke slowly vanishes, the man's face can be seen, and he has dirty white hair, as he is looking at his helmet. At a closer look, the man had yellow eyes and scars on his face, and he was confused that the kitten could cast magic. Even though the kitten was shaking due to his fear, he told the man to back off, and the man was surprised that a kitten could talk. The man was even more confused that was not an ordinary kitten, and thought it was a magical creature, and decided to settle for the kitten. So the man put his hand up, told the kitten that he needed to calm down, and explained he didn't come to fight. But the kitten didn't listen to the man and cast its magic power, and fired it towards the man. Fortunately, the man managed to avoid the attack, and it hit the tree, causing it to be cut thoroughly. The man kneeled on the ground and realized that the kitten didn't understand him, and was more aggressive than he expected. As the man stood up, he was planning on something since he didn't have a choice at all. However, the kitten was cast its magical power again, and the man readied his weapon as he aimed it at the kitten, which he thought was a dangerous creature and couldn't be allowed to live. All of a sudden, the black cat stepped in to protect its kitten even though he was bleeding so bad, and the kitten was glad he helped him. Upon seeing it, the man was stunned that he saw the black cat had been wounded. But then, the black cat couldn't help himself and sat down on the ground, due to his wound, while his kitten told him that it was a dangerous place. The man realized that the kitten was trying to protect his daddy, and started to feel sad. The kitten put himself in front of the black cat and told the man not to hurt the black cat. Upon hearing it, the man froze for a moment, as he thought he was the one who attacked first. So the kitten started to summon his magic power again, But then, the man yelled at him and told him to stop. The man explained that he would heal the black cat, and first he should stop. Hearing it, the cat quickly stops and asks if he really did it, which the man assures him that he will help the black cat. A little while later, the man successfully treated the black cat's wound and informed its kitten that the treatment was over. Then, the kitten rushed to check on his dad, and the man knew that even if he treated the black cat, he wouldn't last long, and surviving this long is already a miracle. Thus, the black cat was shaking and trying to stand up, while the kitten asked if he was okay. But then, the black cat looked at the man who treated him, and he tapped the head of the kitten as he was saying something about it. The kitten shed a tear in his eye and said thank you to the man for saving the life of the black cat. After hearing it, the man put his helmet back on his head and told that whatever. The man slowly left the black cat and its kitten and assured them he would take care of it himself. But in his thoughts, it was enough as he should take the wyvern's body back. Upon reaching the dead body of the wyvern, he was surprised that its body had gone missing. However, the kitten rushed towards the man and ordered him to stop. As he reached it, the kitten quickly jumped on the man's suit and explained it was too dangerous, so the man quickly looked at him as he was confused about what he talking about. All of a sudden, someone attacked the man coming from his back, causing him to lose his balance. Because of that, the man tossed and bumped into the nearby tree, due to the strong impact of the attack. The man quickly stood up and got his senses back, and he was confused about what was the thing he got hit by. Turns out, it was the wyvern's missing body earlier, but now it had a shining tree growing and serving as its head. The wyvern opened its wing, and it was getting ready to fly. Shortly after, the wyvern quickly lifted above and planning on something. In the meantime, the man wondered why he was seeing so many strange things today. On the other side, the wyvern was going to attack the man on the ground, as he readied his sharp claw and aimed it at the man. Seeing it, the black cat immediately ran to where the man and the kitten were. As the wyvern was about to strike its claw, the black cat managed to block it using its magical power as well, while the man and the kitten were shocked. Because of the strong impact of their power, the man covered his face, and the cat managed to escape from the man's hand. The man realized that thing was dangerous, and he needed to finish it as soon as possible, as he prepared his weapon and aimed at the wyvern. As he was to fire it, unfortunately, his weapon malfunctioned, and he knew he was in big trouble. On the other side, the black cat had still blocked its attack, and the kitten decided to help the black cat and informed him. So the kitten tried to summon his magic power, but it didn't work out. The kitten didn't give up and tried again as he told himself to be focused, but due to their current situation, he couldn't summon his power. The kitten decided not to continue and turned back as he told the man that he should help them, and if the black cat kept up he would be dead. As he was about to talk, he realized that the man had disappeared on the back. The kitten was disappointed and asked how could he run away, as he felt unfair about it. All of a sudden, a strong explosion occurred in the place, causing the kitten to be flung into the air. Because of that, the kitten was tossed and rolled on the ground. Due to the damage from the explosion, the kitten felt helpless and lay on the ground. Turns out that the wyvern had defeated the black cat, while its claw had stepping on him. The black cat vomited a lot of blood due to its recent wound and the weight of the wyvern. Seeing it, the kitten quickly stood up and thought to himself that he shouldn't be scared at all, but he got more scared as he overthought that he couldn't do it. But then, someone shouted and the kitten heard it, which caught his attention. Unexpectedly, it was the man who jumped and clung behind the wyvern, as he thought it was a tree, and he decided to rip it all out and make it bald. Driven by his confidence, the kitten realized now at the time and was determined to be more focused. The kitten smirked that he was going to the black cat. Meanwhile, the man managed to rip two of its branches, but then suddenly lost his balance due to the wyvern's aggressive movements. Because of that, the man was tossed onto the ground. Surprisingly, the man had excellent reflexes on his body, managed to control his body, and landed on the ground safely. On the other side, blue liquid mana had flowed toward the kitten, and the wyvern noticed it. The man was confused about it was not enough to finish the wyvern. Thus, he saw that the blue liquid flowing was coming from the branch of the wyvern's head and thought that it was mana. As he followed the mana flowing, the man was surprised that the kitten was absorbing it, while the kitten had summoned his magical power. The kitten successfully summoned his magic and immediately rushed toward the wyvern. The kitten reached the wyvern location and fiercely confronted the wyvern. So, he started casting his magic power, and a blue circle formed on his mouth, cause with this power, he could save the black cat. Shortly after, a fatal blow occurs and hits it directly to the wyvern's head. Upon seeing it, the man was surprised by the magic power of the kitten, which made him left speechless. The kitten's power had occurred even to the sky, and it started to fade away. Because of that, the wyvern was defeated, and the kitten ran toward the black cat. The black cat waited for the kitten, and the kitten started to cry as he informed that he defeated the wyvern. But the black cat's eyes started to close, and he complimented the kitten that he did a great job. The black cat's vision started to fade, while the kitten informed him that they needed to run away anymore. The kitten tried to wake up the black kitten, but his eyes completely closed, and there were still so many things he wanted to teach him, so many things he wanted to say. If he had trusted him and fought alongside from the beginning, would things have been different? The kitten knew his dad was about to give up, but he kept calling and waking him up. Instead of saying those words in his mind, the black cat tapped his hands on the forehead of the kitten and complimented him that he was amazing. For the last time, the black cat told him that he was really a great and totally gave in already, while the kitten started to cry and call the black cat. The kitten noticed that the black cat didn't respond anymore, so he quickly cast his magical healing power to revive the black cat. On the other side, the man thought that if the kitten trying to heal the black cat with magic, as he knew it was dead already. Because of that, the kitten burst into tears and couldn't believe that the black cat was gone. As the sun goes down, the kitten is trying to revive the black cat and keeps trying and trying. Suddenly, the man picked up the cat and told him that he should stop, as he knew that the black cat was gone. The man explained that he died protecting him, which the kitten burst into tears again. The kitten got infuriated and asked why he was saying those words, and he cursed him as well. The kitten tried to escape from the hands of the man, saying he must go away, and he would stay with the black cat forever. Then, the man calmed down the kitten and explained that if he stayed there, he would end up dying of a monster too. So the man asked if he wanted the black cat's death to be in vain. Upon hearing it, the kitten stopped crying and froze for a moment. The man invited him and assured him that he would make sure that he would survive, and he'd let him put his power to good use. The kitten felt relieved and asked if he was really helping him, and the man assured him that he indeed wanted to help him out. Afterward, they buried the black cat's body and put some cross on it, so the man encouraged the kitten once he calmed down, he could come back anytime, and crying all the time is something food does, while the man carrying the corpse body of the wyvern and left the place. The man introduced himself that his name was Hawk, and Hawk asked about his name, causing it to be confused. The kitten explained that the black cat used to call him son, so Hawk explained that was not a name and suggested that choose one name for himself, and he would use it to call for him. But then, the kitten informed Hawk that the black kitten called him a great cat for the last time, and Hawk asked if he was serious about it since it is not a name after all. The kitten insisted that he was great, and the black cat died because of him. So, the kitten decided that Hawk should call him a cat. Hearing it, Hawk repeated the word just a cat, and agreed that the kitten's name was Cat, as they reached their destination. In the busy place of the Frisia Garnet Kingdom, a lot of people panicked as they saw something horrifying in their eyes. Turns out it was Hawk carrying the corpse of the wyvern, and excusing himself as he explained that he would just pass through. The people complained about the strange smell coming from the corpse, and Hawk apologized to them. As Hawk was walking, a man could be seen hiding in the corner as he couldn't believe about what just he saw. The man had suspicion that the hunter that he just saw was Hawk, and thought about changing his plans. The night came, at the meat shop store. Inside the shop, a bearded man can be seen chopping some meat. Suddenly, someone knocked on his door, and the man explained that they were closed for the day. But then the door quickly opened, and the bearded man noticed it. Turns out it was Hawk, and the bearded man named Gunter informed him that it was him. Gunter wiped his hands and asked if he had tracked down his target since it had been a week gone by. Hawk informed him that he didn't track his target, and he handed the head of the wyvern to Gunter and told him that he ended up bringing back something a bit too big. So, Gunter quickly checked the corpse of the wyvern and asked what did he to end up the wyvern like this, and he would have to discard the torso. Then, Gunter stood up and explained that he could take care of the corpse of the wyvern. Gunter glared at Hawk and reminded him that he was taking his task longer than usual. After hearing it, Hawk was left speechless while he was busy carrying the cat. Gunter felt awkward and scratched his head, saying he was just an informant and was not in a position to complain about his work. Then Gunter informed that the city's atmosphere has been tense lately. Gunter explained that rumors are spreading that the kingdom is preparing for war, and if this mission gets delayed any longer, those rumors might turn real. Hearing it, Hawk told him that he understood about the issue and explained that there were no traces in the forest. So Gunter suspected that intel must have been wrong and assured him that he would more gather information. Then Gunter handed him a paper and informed him that it was a piece of portrait of him based on the last sighting. The man in the portrait was the man earlier who was hiding in the corner, and his name was Sirius, the traitor of the Topaz Kingdom, and he must be dealt with. Then Gunter told him that processing the wyvern would take some time, and Hawk responded that it was fine and he should leave him 2 of its claws and he could have the rest. Hearing it, Gunter quickly got his saw and informed Gunter that he could cut off those claws right now. But then Gunter stopped Hawk and asked what was up with the cat. The next morning, Hawk and Cat were peacefully sleeping, and the sunlight was soaking them. Shortly after, the cat suddenly opened his eyes as he realized something. The cat quickly sat down and called his dad, as he realized that the black cat had already gone, and started to cry. So the cat decided to wake Hawk up, and he started shaking Hawk's helmet as he kept calling his name. The cat was surprised that it was just Hawk's helmet and gear. Upon realizing it, the cat burst into tears, and he was confused as to if Hawk was gone too. But then Hawk was just sitting beside the bed and told the cat that he was not dead, which the cat was surprised. Hawk was repairing his weapon called Golem, and he explained that it was just his clothes arranged to look like him, and that he didn't sleep in beds. Hearing it, Cat asked why he would not sleep on the bed, since it was soft, and he started to pinch the bed. But Hawk explained that it was sort of like an occupational habit, and Cat asked what he meant by occupational habit. Then, Hawk didn't respond to the cat's question, and he was focused on what he was doing. But then, he unlocked a device and checked if something was missing. Upon observing, Hawk noticed that his weapon Golem didn't malfunction. The cause of didn't activate was the complete mana depletion. Then, Cat moved closer to Hawk and asked what he was doing and the name of his device. Hawk explained that it was Mana Cell, a device that stores mana. It needs to be inserted for a weapon Golem to function. After Hawk inserted the Mana Cell device, his Golem weapon had been activated. Seeing the weapon had functioned already, Hawk sighed in relief as it was working normally again, while Cat was astonished about his weapon. Hawk realized the main reason for its malfunctioning of his weapon was because of the cat who absorbed its mana. Due to his amusement, Cat touched Hawk's Golem and complimented that it was fascinating. But then, Hawk quickly grabbed his weapon back and told Cat to stop messing with his Golem, which Cat was confused about. So, Hawk invited Cat there was something that they needed to do, and Cat asked where are they going. Hawk informed him that they were going to the Hunters Guild, a transnational organization formed by mages and merchants to efficiently hunt dangerous creatures like monsters and magic beings. All hunters from different kingdoms are registered with the guild, and the guild provides TEM support through different services. One of the most notable benefits is the authority to freely cross national borders, which is called transnational hunting operations, and most adventurers register as hunters to obtain this privilege. They headed to the hunter building, and Hawk knew he had no exception, and this was his first time using the guild for a different service. Then, the staff asked if he wished to register a familiar. Hawk agreed and asked if there didn't seem to be anyone in this place, which the staff explained was taming magical creatures wasn't common after all. Thus, Hawk handed her the cat and explained it was living with him, but he thought it might be a magical creature. So Cat asked what he was doing, causing the staff surprised that a cat could talk. So quickly grabbed the cat and told Hawk that there was no need for further checks, and it was definitely a magical creature. But for some procedural reasons, an inspection is mandatory, and Hawk should understand it. The staff put the cat down and started to pat its head, and asked what was its name, so Hawk informed her that his name was a cat. Then Cat stated that his name was just a cat. Hearing it, the staff was confused if it was just a cat name, but she had no choice but to believe it, and started to compress a device on his body. Shortly after, Cat complains that he doesn't like what the woman doing to him, and insists that he doesn't want to do it anymore, causing the woman to hold her tight and tell Cat to bear with it since it will be over soon. Then, Hawk glared at him and warned Cat that those unregistered magical creatures were classified as top-tier hunting targets. Hawk reminded him that if he didn't get registered, he would have to hunt him too. Seeing it, the staff got mad that he must not tell him those things to him, and he was scaring him as well, and suggested he must step aside and not dare to interfere with them, which Hawk defended himself that he was trying to help him. So, Hawk had no choice but to keep his distance and decided to watch what was happening outside through the window. All of a sudden, Hawk saw a rock flying towards them. Because of that, the rock hit the window, causing it to collide, and Hawk quickly avoided it. Hawk quickly sat down and hid himself behind the windows, confused as to why there was a sudden attack on them, while the staff was surprised that the window had broken. Hawk observed the thing that smashed the window was just an ordinary rock, and thought there were two possibilities. Hawk sneaked where the rock possibly came from, and thought might be someone's prank, or bait to lure him outside. However, a man on the top of the roof was looking at Hawk from afar. Turns out it was Sirius staring at him, causing Hawk to stand up, and know it was Sirius. Hawk recalled the day when Sirius and he were fighting, and Hawk tossed on the ground. Hawk trying to stand up, and a dagger had struck on the ground. Then, Sirius picked up the dagger and told Hawk that still hadn't shaken off his old habits from when he was a child soldier, and charging in to take down an opponent isn't their way. So Hawk wiped his sweat and told Sirius that he would try again. Then, Sirius handed the dagger to him and reminded him that must think before he acted. That's the only way to become one of the Death Knights. Hearing it, Hawk accepted that dagger and cheerfully agreed with what Sirius said. Back in reality, Hawk called Sirius his master, and he knew that he still had a lot to learn. Meanwhile, the staff got panicked and asked what was going on, and if he could see who threw that rock, and informed him that she didn't have to pay for that. However, Hawk grabbed the cat back to him, causing the staff to try to stop Hawk as she didn't check the results. Hawk didn't listen to the staff and immediately rushed towards Sirius. So Hawk didn't have a choice, he slipped through the broken window. Upon witnessing it, the staff knew she was indeed trouble, but then the results suddenly came in. The light turned red, and that meant it indicating something. After reading it, the staff was shocked that Cat wasn't a magical creature at all. Meanwhile, Hawk activated his golem and tied it to a nearby chimney, where Sirius was. Hawk's golem successfully tied it on the chimney and knew it was secure enough to help him go to the top. Hawk quickly pulled his golem's string up to above. Thus, Hawk managed to go on above and meet Sirius, while Sirius was waiting for him. After that, Sirius greeted Hawk, saying it's been a while since the last time they met, and Hawk asked why he was suddenly showing up right now. Sirius felt sad and told Hawk that if he knew that he was the one tracking him, he wouldn't have hidden for a long time. Hearing it, Hawk quickly pointed his sword at Sirius and asked if he was mocking him. But Sirius just looked at him and told him that he trusted him very much. However, Hawk didn't believe him as he continued aiming his sword at him and asked why he betrayed the Topaz Kingdom and them, and even the Death Knights. Sirius didn't listen to him, as he told him that he was keeping the cat without even realizing the truth. As Sirius was about to explain what happened to the Topaz Kingdom, suddenly, Sirius was shot in the neck, causing him to be shocked at the same time. Then another arrow was fired towards Sirius's location, but this time Hawk managed to destroy the arrow, while Sirius had kneeled on the ground as he was holding the arrow on his neck. Hawk thought that it was a sniper and started protecting Sirius, and Sirius had fallen as he was struggling on his wound. Hawk observes and asks if he is not the only assassin after Sirius, or was this all a setup from the start? But then, Hawk saw that the shooter was in front of him on the top of the chimney, causing him to be surprised. Turns out, it was Lena who asked Hawk if he was trying to protect Sirius. Lena was devastated and told him that he chose to betray them. But Hawk insisted and explained that he didn't betray them and that she was just mistaken after all. However, Lena got more infuriated and told Hawk that she didn't want any lame excuses coming from him and that she would kill Hawk. Lena started to attack Hawk, and Hawk quickly avoided her arrows, while Sirius was looking at them fighting. Sirius vomited blood and quickly pulled out his weapon, a candle shaped like. Then, Sirius's weapon activated its skill and started to have a magical fire on it. Sirius managed to burn the arrow that had been on his neck and thought that an assassin making such a racket. While Lena and Hawk were busy fighting, Sirius told Hawk that he hadn't changed a little bit. But then, Cat offers Hawk to help him out, and Hawk disagrees about it and he must stay put on his side, while Lena is preparing her arrows to shoot Hawk again. Sirius held his wound and knew his plan had worked, that at the very least, this would get the guild's attention. Sirius felt sad while looking at Hawk, and he wanted to explain on him everything, but he didn't have enough time left, as apologized to Hawk and bid farewell to him, while his neck was covered by something. In the meantime, Hawk rushes towards Lena, and Lena prepares her arrows to shoot Hawk. As Hawk was about to swing his sword, Lena dodged it and jumped over him. Lena took the opportunity as she repositioned herself, and fired her arrows above Hawk. Fortunately, Hawk quickly saw the arrows coming towards him and prepared his sword to destroy each arrow. Hawk smoothly swings his sword, and all her arrows are destroyed. As she landed back on the rooftop, Lena noticed something was missing, and Hawk composed himself after those attacks. Lena realized that Sirius was completely gone, and she got infuriated as she remembered that Sirius was a mage. Without Lena's knowing, Hawk was dashing towards her, causing her to get surprised. Then, Lena avoided the sword attack, but Hawk activated his golem and fired it at her right arm. Thus the golem opened those wings on it. Unlucky Lena couldn't dodge it, and Hawk's golem managed to cling to her arms. On the other side, Hawk knew that his golem had been clinging to Lena's arms and started to pull it down closer to him. Then Hawk pulled it as hard as he could, and Lena knew she was indeed in trouble as she was being pulled down by Hawk. As she dragged down, Hawk swung his sword again and was to strike it to Lena, while Lena had nothing to do about it. But this time Hawk didn't strike the sharp thing on his sword, it was just the tip of his sword, and he bonked it to her head. After that, Hawk restrained Lena by putting her down and holding her hands tightly. So, Hawk told her that she must calm down. Then Cat complimented Hawk that he was amazing, and Hawk told him to shut up. Hawk explained that he just wanted to hear what Sirius was trying to tell him something. Hearing it, Lena didn't believe him and asked where was Sirius right now. So, Hawk quickly checked where the last time he saw Sirius, and realized that he was gone, that Lena was right. But then, Hawk immediately asked Lena where Sirius hid, and Lena got even madder and stated that she asked first, and then called Hawk an idiot. Meanwhile, other people in the village had seen them and started to wonder why are they fighting on the rooftop. Seeing it, Hawk started to feel embarrassed and suggested to Lena they should move somewhere else for now. Later that day, both Lena and Hawk decided to go to the meat shop, and Hawk explained that he was not a traitor. Then Gunter told both of them to stop and served them some tea and something, which both of them stopped talking for a while. After handing them some drinks, Gunter looked at Hawk and asked if he lost Sirius, so Hawk agreed and asked if he had any new intel. But then Gunter recommended Hawk to give up. Upon hearing it, Lena got infuriated, which she quickly reacted to, and asked if Gunter lost his mind. So Hawk asked Gunter why he should say those words, but then Gunter handed them a new paper stating they must check it out. The moment Hawk accepted the newspaper, he was dumbfounded that the Topaz Kingdom had been destroyed. After reading it, Lena was shocked and couldn't believe that Topaz Kingdom was already gone. Gunter stated that a glowing tree appeared in the royal palace, attracting monsters, and within days, the entire kingdom became uninhabitable. So, Hawk recalled the mutated wyvern that they'd encountered in the forest, and was confused if it was the same as the glowing tree that Gunter was talking about. Then, Gunter told them that the country had already fallen, and asked does a traitor even mattered anymore. But then Gunter suggested that since they were both assassins, just quit and start a new life, while Hawk and Lena froze for a moment. As Cat saw the newspaper article, his body started to tremble due to its fear of what he saw, while Hawk explained that he didn't know how to raise a cat. So, Gunter saw the cat was shaking and asked what was happening to him. Hawk panicked and immediately grabbed Cat and asked if he was okay. So, Cat explained that it was the master of the tree and the black cat, and he ran all the way here to escape from the thing. Hearing it, Hawk couldn't believe what he heard and was confused as to what Cat does mean about the master of the tree. Suddenly, Lena slammed the table loudly and told them that she needed to see it with her own eyes, and headed back to HQ, then asked Hawk about his plans. As Hawk was about to say his plan, suddenly someone knocked on the door, causing them to be silenced for a minute. Then Gunter opened the door and informed him that they were closed, but the man told him that closing was pretty early, causing him to wonder. Gunter explained that they had some unexpected circumstances, and asked what was his motive. So the man showed Gunter an ID, introduced himself that he was Lucas, an investigator from the guild, and asked if he could spare time for a moment. Hearing it, Gunter was surprised and asked what brings someone like him to their place. Lucas informed him that he didn't have any business with their shop, and then Lucas asked Hawk if he was inside, while Hawk prepared his sword, causing him to get surprised. Hawk had no choice but to face him, and Lucas handed him a paper bill stating it was a guild property, for the broken window. Hearing it, Gunter got annoyed and asked what he was doing earlier, and Hawk was busy reading his paper bill. Then Lucas informed Hawk that he left something behind, and asked if he wanted him to take it now. Hearing it, Hawk was confused about what he heard, but then he realized and informed him that he would take it now. Lucas told him to follow him, and started to walk away from the shop. While they were walking on the way to Lucas's spot, Hawk saw Lena jumping on the rooftop. Lena told Hawk that she was coming with him, and Hawk explained that it was nothing, and suggested that she must go back to the meat shop. Hearing it, Lena stopped chasing him and felt annoyed, and then she middle-fingered Hawk to prove her annoyance for him. Seeing it, Hawk was left speechless while Lena left and headed back to the meat shop. After a few minutes of walking, Hawk thought that Lucas might be heading to his pretty secluded place. Shortly after, Lucas informed that there were arrived and pointed to the carriage, and Hawk started to explain that he knew it was a little late to say it, but he didn't forget anything. After hearing it, Lucas brought out a coffin and stated that they should confirm it first. Upon seeing it, Hawk was shocked and felt something odd about the coffin. Lucas opened the coffin and told him that he might have figured it out already. As Lucas opened the coffin, Hawk was shocked and couldn't believe what he was seeing right now. Turns out, it was Sirius's dead body, as it was fully crystallized with the magic tree, the same case as the mutated wyvern that Hawk encountered. Suddenly, Hawk swung his sword and attacked Lucas. Fortunately for Lucas, he managed to block Hawk's attack on him. But then, Lucas was still calm and stated that if he killed him, he would be just a fool. Hawk didn't listen to him and insisted his sword even more to Lucas. So Lucas glared at Hawk and asked if he knew why Sirius had died. But then Lucas pushed Hawk away and tried to calm him down. Hawk didn't listen to him and activated his golem as he started firing it at Lucas. Lucas managed to block his attacks and explained that he was not there to fight with him. So, Lucas had no choice since Hawk was keep attack him, stating that he didn't have the ability to hold back. As Lucas cast his magical power and aimed it at Hawk, as he told him that he must not die. Shortly after, Lucas throws a fatal blow on Hawk, and it doesn't direct it to Hawk's body, but it is blocked by his swords. Due to the strong impact, Hawk has been hurled away and bumped into a nearby tree. Because of that, the horses were scared, as the dust had been scattered to their eyes and started to be agitated. But then, the horses started to run away from the scene, and Lucas struggled that his service had been left. Lucas stared at Hawk and thought that he was way more emotional than he expected, while Hawk had kneeled on the ground. After that, Hawk suggested to Cat that could he step back for a bit, and Cat was concerned about Hawk. While Hawk and Lucas were staring at each other, Cat asked if the person inside that coffin was someone important to him. Hearing it, Hawk coldly responded that Sirius was not important to him. Cat shed tears and asked Hawk why he suddenly agreed if Sirius wasn't important to him. But Hawk didn't answer Cat's question. Instead, Hawk put Cat down on the ground and suggested that he must stay out of this, while Cat insisted that he wanted to help him. Hawk explained that this was something to deal with, and Cat didn't know what to say. Cat burst into tears and insisted that he wanted to come with him, and Hawk started to put on his helmet to protect him. And Hawk was serious, and begged Cat to stay on his helmet. So, Cat had no choice and didn't react at all. Thus, Hawk stood up and shifted his look at Lucas again. But then, Lucas asked if talking things out wasn't an option, but Hawk got annoyed and told him to shut up. After that, Lucas summoned his magical power and told Hawk that he was shameless. Then, Lucas fired his power toward Hawk, and Hawk started to rush toward Lucas as well. Hawk swiftly swung his sword at the fire blades and managed to slice it in half. Same on the other fire blades, Hawk easily executed it side by side. After that, Hawk decided to rush on Lucas, since he already destroyed those fire blades, while Lucas summoned his magical power again. Then, Lucas throws a fatal blow on Hawk, causing him to stop and prepare his counterattack on it. Hawk activated his golem, launched it toward Lucas's magic power, and tried to counter it. Hawk's golem managed to destroy half of Lucas' power and defended himself on it. All of a sudden, Lucas used it to initiate his other attack on Hawk. As a result, Lucas managed to catch Hawk off guard and put a powerful kick on him. Because of that, Hawk had been tossed on the ground due to its strong impact. Hawk was more infuriated that he had been attacking like that, as he was trying to stand up and fight Lucas again. Seeing it, Cat panicked and managed to get out the metal helmet of Hawk as he was trying to call his name. But then, Cat was surprised that Lucas had summoned his magical power again, and Cat knew that Hawk was too weak to avoid it. Cat burst into tears and recalled what Hawk said, that he must stay put, but this time Cat didn't doubt if he was going to help Hawk or not. However, Cat suddenly recalled what happened to his father last time, when he died because of him. Cat thinks a lot of times that if he was still hesitating, Hawk would be dead too. So, Cat's decision had been complete and decided to rush towards Hawk, as he couldn't let happen again. On the other side, Lucas was forming his magic power, but this time it was a final blow for him. Shortly after, Lucas launched his attack on Hawk, while Cat had exactly arrived where Lucas's power was going. Upon seeing it, Lucas thought it was the end of Hawk as a large explosion had occurred on the place, but little did he know it was countered by Cat's magic power as well. Lucas couldn't believe what just happened, and his power turned into a liquid form, stating that Cat could absorb their mana. While Cat was fiercely looking at Lucas, both their mana were flowing towards him. Then Cat yelled, saying that he didn't want anyone to die, and that's why he would protect them with his own strength. Hawk looked at his golem weapon and realized that for now, it was useless. Hawk understood that Cat was absorbing 2 types of mana, red and green, and that meant Lucas probably couldn't use magic either. But then, Hawk started to walk closer to Lucas and thanked Cat for what he did, as he pulled out his sword. The same thing to Lucas as he walked closer to Hawk and pulled his dagger as well. While Hawk was walking, he understood that they were both using a physical fight, as he was confident that he had the advantage. Both Hawk and Lucas were looking infuriated. So, Lucas and Hawk jumped towards each other as they swung their weapons to attack. However, Cats formed gigantic hands using mana and grabbed both of them. Because of that, Cat managed to stop Lucas and Hawk, causing them to get restrained. Then Cat yelled at them, saying they must stop fighting, and Hawk got annoyed and asked what he was doing. Cat quickly informed Hawk that Lucas might want to talk to him and they needed to hear it out, so Lucas agreed about it. Hearing it, Hawk got infuriated and closed as he knew that he didn't have a choice. Hawk swallowed his pride and agreed with what Cat said. After that, they both sat on the ground, and Lucas started to say that he just come here due to Sirius's request. Lucas explained that Sirius knew that he was lost and confused, so this was the way of looking out for him. Upon hearing it, Hawk asked what was their relationship with Sirius. So Lucas informed him that he was Sirius's informant, and Hawk got more infuriated as he heard it. Then, Cat activated his magic power and put them to Lucas, and Hawk tried to stop them, which Hawk explained they were not fighting at all. But then, Lucas brought an envelope stating everything about the Topaz Kingdom's research on magical life forms. The envelope contains a photo and explains that that photo is the key material of their research of a parasitic magical life form, and it's called World Tree. Once it takes over a host, even an ordinary human can use magic. But the host loses all sense of self and becomes a puppet of the tree. The Topaz Kingdom sought to turn it into a magical weapon. The test subjects included Death Knights, various magical creatures, and monsters. After hearing it, Hawk was shocked by the information and explanations that Lucas said. Lucas clarified that all the test subjects who were infected lost their sense of self. Only Sirius, being a mage, seemed immune, and he managed to escape to this place with his consciousness intact. So, Hawk asked Lucas how did he know these photos weren't fake. But Lucas advised him that he must see it for himself, and that's why he brought Sirius's corpse. And it was originally Sirius' plan to give him all the information before he lost himself completely and took his own life. Upon hearing it, Hawk was confused and asked if he was immune, and why Sirius would need to kill himself. Then, Lucas explained that he only delayed the process, and he wasn't completely immune. Lucas suggested to Sirius before that they needed to rely on the guild's technology to find a cure, but Sirius refused. Hearing it, Hawk got mad and asked why Sirius refused it. Suddenly, Lucas pointed his finger at Hawk and explained that because of him. Hawk got infuriated as he grabbed Lucas's shirt and asked if he was saying he was the cause of Sirius's death, while the cat panicked and told to not to fight. But Lucas calmly explained that he was the assassin sent to eliminate him. So, Sirius intended to die by his hands, to prevent him from being seen as a traitor to the assassination squad. Hawk decided to let go of Lucas's shirt and sat down again on the ground. Hawk felt sad and asked Lucas if Sirius really died for him. As Hawk was about to tell something, he froze for a mean time and realized something. Then Hawk asked Cat why the black cat, and he came all the way along in the kingdom. Cat explained that his dad and he ran away to escape from the master of the tree. After hearing it, Hawk knew that the master of the tree was the real culprit and called him a bastard, which the cat was confused. Hawk knows that he planted the world tree on purpose, and he turned the Death Knights into test subjects and the cause of the black cat's death. Due to his frustration, Hawk clenched his fist and planned that if he killed the master of that tree, everything would be settled. But then, Lucas stated that his plan was a reckless conclusion and not a solution, and called it an act of revenge, causing him to ask Hawk if he even knew who the master of the tree was. Hawk suggested that if he talked as if he did, so Lucas asked if it wasn't obvious. Lucas explained that the only one with the power to plant a world tree inside the royal palace, and the only one who could experiment on Death Knights was the king of the Topaz Kingdom. So, Hawk got it now and asked what he was going to say next. Lucas was confused at first, and then clarified that it was the Death Knights who were the king's assassination squad. Hawk knew that the assassination squad existed to eliminate the enemies of the Topaz Kingdom. Hawk thought that the one who destroyed the kingdom was the enemy, but this time, the target just happened to be the king. Then Lucas didn't believe in Hawk and asked if he really could take down the king, and reminded him that he almost died at his own hands. To Lucas's surprise, Hawk grabbed Cat and told him that he could fight alongside him, and assured him that he could do it. Then, Hawk looks at Cat and reminds him that he once said that he would help him along with his strength to good use, and encourage him to use it to take the world back from the master of the tree. Hearing this, Cat was confused and asked if he was talking about saving the world. Then Lucas asked if he really was saving the world, since the fall of the Topaz Kingdom could have just been an accident. But Lucas asked him that shouldn't be more worried about the king's safety. Hawk explained that the Death Knights were used as test subjects, and the king betrayed the Death Knights. Hawk asked if the fall of the Topaz Kingdom wasn't an accident after all. Wouldn't that mean the tree's owner could bring down another kingdom as well? Lucas told his opinion that his plan is more like an excuse for revenge, and explained that it is not like he needed to understand his motives and do whatever he wanted. After that, Lucas told Hawk that he was done explaining and bid farewell to him, which Hawk stopped him for a minute. Hawk asked if he was going to leave the corpse of Sirius and other stuff on him. Lucas informed him that he was planning to use Sirius's corpse and those photos to reveal the existence of the World Tree, but Lucas changed his mind since everyone already knew. Hawk got annoyed and asked if he was giving all the information because of that, and it made him lose confidence. So Lucas explained that he understood the need for his caution, but Lucas had no reason to deceive him, and the only ones who knew about the World Tree were Sirius and him. Lucas added that if they take this to the guild now, it will only bring trouble for the two of them, and suggested Hawk use it to survive. After that, Hawk looks at the coffin and the things where Lucas put it and feels worried about it. So, Hawk asked him for the last time, and Lucas asked what was it all about. Then, Hawk told him that before Sirius died, he knew about Cat and what was the identity of this cat. Hearing it, Lucas was dumbfounded and told him that he'd been carrying Cat without knowing anything. Then Lucas showed a picture of a family of the cat where his mother and the black cat appeared in the photo, and explained it must have been a test subject. Hawk looked at him and felt worried about Cat, and clarified that meant the World Tree already parasitized him. Hawk looked at him with a doubt, and thought that Cat had the same case with Sirius then. But Lucas said no and informed him that the cat hadn't been parasitized, and Hawk asked how could he be sure about it. Lucas explained that a creature that had been parasitized would have a tree growing somewhere on its body, and if it was human, it might be able to hide it with clothing. So Lucas assured Hawk that he didn't see anything on the cat's body, and Hawk asked if the cat's power doesn't come from the World Tree, which Cat was confused about what Hawk was talking about. Lucas clarified to him that the Topaz Kingdom wasn't only researching the World Tree, and he heard they also experimented on various magical creatures, trying to weaponize them. Hawk looked again at Cat as he heard the magical weapons, and recalled what magical power the cat had. Lucas suspected that Cat might be one of them, and explained that he had the abilities are that unique. But then, Lucas glared at Cat and exposed that to the point he wanted to get them, and Cat felt scared about him. All of a sudden, Hawk dashed out of Lucas and pulled his sword out, as he thought Lucas should start fighting again. But Lucas turned around and told him it was a joke, that he just granted Sirius's request, and he had no intention of killing him. Then Lucas bids farewell to Hawk, stating that he needs to track down the runaway carriage. While Lucas was walking away, Hawk asked Cat if his name was Lucas, and explained that he didn't want to meet Lucas again. Hawk didn't deny that Lucas helped him a lot, especially with those pieces of information and photos that Lucas had. After that, Hawk had already arranged the picture and the coffin of Sirius, and asked himself what should he do now, and should he share the information with Gunter and Lena. As he was putting the photos back into their original envelope, Hawk thought that if he told them everything, they might believe him. But Hawk hesitated that they might suspect him of being a traitor, and things get even more complicated. So, Hawk made up his mind and decided that he would keep for a while the information that Lucas shared with him. In Hawk's mind, once he returned to the headquarters with the corpse as it was, he'd complete the mission and clear himself of the traitor's accusations. Then, he would uncover the true mastermind behind all this. As he was thinking, Cat called him all of a sudden. Cat expresses that a family is precious to him, and Hawk asks what Cat is talking about. So, Cat explained that Hawk sees him as a family and that Hawk is very important to him. But Hawk informed Cat they had only known each other for 3 days, and Cat insisted that he was serious about it. Cat expressed that when he was going through a hard time, Hawk stayed by his side. Hearing it, Hawk felt overwhelmed and speechless at the same time. However, Cat asks Hawk if he is precious to him, and Hawk asks what he means by his question. Cat burst into tears and explained that he didn't want to lose anything precious to him ever again, and if there was something precious to Cat, and wanted to help and protect it no matter what. After hearing it, Hall left silent for a moment, and he never thought about it, causing him to be pressured that he didn't know what should he answer, and if he responded Cat would leave him, and he couldn't let that happen. But then, Hawk stated what was precious for him if the Death Knights could be in danger right now, and wanted to save his comrades. Hawk thought it might be enough explanation for Cat, and hesitated that he should have said that he wanted to save the world. Then, Cat understood Hawk's motives and offered that he would help Hawk. They should protect what was important to them together. So, Hawk tapped Cat and thanked him for his offers. Hawk knew he had to be careful and must prioritize maintaining his relationship with Cat. If enemies they encounter from now on have powers like that wyvern, Hawk absolutely needs Cat's abilities. Shortly after, Hawk asked Cat if they should head to the Topaz Kingdom, to which Cat agreed quickly. Hawk didn't realize that no matter what he said, Cat wouldn't have left him, that Cat had already become someone precious to Hawk, and that was all that mattered. Because of Hawk's determination and through Cat's support, they were heading to the Topaz Kingdom with confidence and encouragement. When night came at the meat shop, meanwhile, Hawk's golem was flying outside, but inside the meat shop chairs and tables had been broken. Might someone have been fighting in there? But then, Hawk's golem was waiting for someone to open the window, and a voice could be heard, saying it was Hawk's golem. Then the voice of a woman joyfully opened the door and welcomed Hawk's golem. Turns out Hawk's golem just put a piece of paper on the window, causing the woman to be confused. The woman opened the letter, and it said that he found a clue about Sirius, that he would return to headquarters after completing the mission, and it was from Hawk, which the woman was confused about. Turns out it was a mutated woman with a glowing crown on her head, saying Hawk was heartless now, after she went through all the trouble of preparing a surprise party, as she was hoping that Hawk and her would meet next time. Meanwhile, Hawk's golem returned to him and landed it in his hands. So, Hawk complimented his golem saying he did a great job, and the golem just agreed and formed back to its original position. Shortly after, Hawk decided to continue walking, as they already reached a place that it's kind of rocky and had fewer trees on it. While Hawk was walking, Cat suddenly heard noises as if someone was running out of nowhere. Then, the cat called Hawk, causing Hawk to get startled and ask why he was suddenly awake. But then, a shadow figure had been chasing them from a distance. Cat explained he thought someone was looking at them, and Hawk asked if he was sure about it. Suddenly, Hawk and Cat went silent and noticed someone moving around them. Hawk knew it was definitely some movements, and since this place wasn't that far from Frisia, and thought maybe Lena had followed him. Due to his curiosity, Hawk stopped as he put the coffin first, and it didn't matter who was after him. Hawk prepared his golem since he doubted it would be able to settle things peacefully. All of a sudden, a feet like a dinosaur, with a sharp claw on it, and Hawk saw it. Turns out, it was a group of goblins who'd been making those sounds earlier, which Hawk was surprised. Hawk didn't know how he would feel about it, and his golem was ready to be attacked by those goblins. But then, Hawk decided that those goblins were not as easy, as he thought since one of them had been infected, while the goblins had slowly approached them. Hawk positioned himself and prepared his golem aiming at the upcoming goblins, and told Cat it was a fight and he must hold on tight, which Cat understood. Shortly after, Hawk fires his golem toward Goblin, causing the goblin head be surprised. Because of that, the two goblins were chasing Hawk golem, while the other turned back and checked if Hawk was still there. Upon seeing it, the goblin was surprised that Hawk had already escaped, leaving that coffin below. On the other side, Hawk was looking at the goblins while his golem was busy distracting them, and he knew one of the goblins had parasitized with World Tree. Then Hawk looked at Cat and wondered if they were looking after Cat, while Cat started to get scared. Hawk kneeled on the ground and pulled his sword, that he knew this might work in their favor, as it was a good opportunity to test the limits of his power. So, Hawk advised Cat to not use any magic power of his, and Cat was confused and asked why he would not. Hawk explained that the mana cell he was using right now was the last one. As Hawk Golem shifted its direction, one of the goblins decided to chase and knew that Hawk Golem was near them. Without its knowing, Hawk was hiding in the bush and planned to ambush who was near that bush, which Hawk quickly dashed out and swung his sword at the goblin. Hawk managed to hit the goblin, causing it to fall out of balance. Due to the strong impact, the goblin was tossed to the ground. But the goblin managed to stand up quickly, and because of what Hawk did to him, it got infuriated. But then, Hawk realized something, as he knew that he swung it intending to split it into two. Hawk thought that goblin's skin had always been thick. Shortly after, while Hawk was busy thinking, the goblin earlier had been running towards Hawk. To Hawk's surprise, the goblin managed to bite Hawk's arm. Due to its force, Hawk managed to maintain his poise. But then, Hawk used his feet and kicked the goblin, bumping it into the rock, causing the goblin to receive a lot of damage and get suppressed. So, Hawk called out to his golem to activate its power, and quickly the golem fired it into the goblin's chest, causing it to scream in pain. On the other hand, another goblin was rushing toward Hawk, and Hawk quickly saw it. As the goblin was charging at him, Hawk quickly jumped on the rope. As a result, the goblin got bumped into the rock, where his other companion was, while Hawk managed to bounce up. Hawk held the tip of his sword and aimed it at the goblin, and the goblin had been stuck its mouth on the rock. Because of that, Hawk managed to hit him with a fatal blow, leading it to its sudden death. After that, Hawk successfully defeated the two goblins, and looked at the other one, while the last goblin was looking at him as well. Hawk knew it was the infected one, as it started to withdraw a lot of mana from its body. Seeing it, even his sword slightly tilted, Hawk confidently lifted it and told the goblin to fight with him. Shortly after, the infected goblin quickly dashed towards Hawk, which Hawk dazzled by its light. As a result, it hits Hawk's sword, causing it to be shattered into pieces, and Cat and Hawk are startled. The infected goblin had bumped into the rock, and due to the strong impact the rock had been damaged, but the infected goblin didn't stop there and planned to attack again on Hawk. So Hawk knew they needed a different weapon for now since his sword had broken. So Cat asked what kind of another weapon, which Hawk told him that he made something new. On the other side, the infected goblin had released its mana again, and it was screaming at him, while Hawk prepared his new weapon and confidently told Cat that it was time for its testing. Shortly after, the infected goblin launched himself to attack Hawk, and Hawk fired his new weapon at the infected goblin. As the infected goblin was about to come near Hawk, the new weapon of Hawk was strangled on its neck, causing it to stop its attack. Then, Hawk knew he successfully put it to its neck, and Hawk quickly pulled it back, causing its head to be sliced. After that, Hawk smoothly landed on the ground and thought he killed the infected goblin. Then, Hawk introduced his new weapon to Cat and called the Wyvern Blade, which Cat complimented his weapon, saying it was amazing, and Hawk knew it was not bad at all. However, the branches of the magic tree started to grow on its body since it was infected. Upon seeing it, Hawk was surprised and thought that he made a mistake by cutting into its body, while the infected goblin's body started to stand up. In Hawk's mind, dangerous creatures are categorized into monsters and magical creatures, but what exactly sets them apart? So, Hawk repositioned himself, jumped over the infected goblin, and swung wyvern blades. It is countered by the infected goblin using a sharp tail. But then, the infected goblin jumped over Hawk and aimed his sharp tail at Hawk. Seeing it, Hawk and Cat were startled, and Cat started to panic. As the infected goblin swings his tail on Hawk, but Hawk quickly prepares his wyvern blade to counter its attack. Due to the strong impact of its tail, Hawk's wyvern blade had turned into pieces. Because of that, Hawk had been pushed by its force, and upon Hawk's observation that monsters aren't supposed to use magic, that was meant to be the key distinction between them and magical creatures. But this time, the infected goblin is using magic as if it was completely normal for him, and the infected goblin had been looking at him. Upon looking at it, Hawk thought that if a monster was infected by the world tree, it would be counted as a magical creature. All of a sudden, Cat couldn't hold his feelings anymore, and decided to help Hawk, saying he was going to protect him, and started summoning his magic power. Hearing it, Hawk tried to stop him, but it was too late as he already absorbed the mana of Hawk Golem. Shortly after, a powerful magic power was blown toward the infected goblin. It hits directly the infected goblin, causing it to dissolve, and in seconds it to vanish completely. Because of its fatal blow, Hawk quickly chased on something, while his golem had been completely fell off the ground. Turns out that Hawk chasing the coffin of Sirius, as he knew it was pushed in that direction. Hawk quickly stopped and was surprised that Sirius's coffin hadn't unscathed after all the power had been hit by it. So, Cat quickly apologized to Hawk for using his magic. Afterward, the dawn was seen, and Hawk and Cat sat on the ground as they were discussing something. Hawk glared at Cat, causing him to feel sad, and shed tears in his eyes. But then, Hawk thanked Cat for saving his life, and Cat was confused and asked if he did a good job. Then, Hawk glared at Cat again and said no, so Cat started to cry again. Hawk explained because Cat used magic. The golem was useless now, and he nearly lost Sirius's body. So Hawk stated that if he kept acting that way, Hawk wouldn't be able to trust Cat anymore. So the Cat quickly apologized to Hawk. But then Hawk informed Cat, saying from now on, they were setting a rule, which Cat asked what he meant by rule. Hawk was silent for a while and recalled that Cat considered him as his family, meaning it didn't want to be alone, and it was pitiful, but to tame it, Cat needed to dig into this part. Then Hawk declares that Cat isn't allowed to use his magic without his consent, and if Cat breaks his rule, Hawk going to leave him alone. Hearing it, Cat felt sad, as his tears were flowing down his face. So Hawk asked if Cat understood, and repeated his rule that if he broke the rule, they would separate immediately. Cat had no choice and said to agree to Hawk, but then Cat told Hawk he had a condition as well. Cat stated that he wanted to set a rule too. Hearing it, Hawk teasingly asked if he was not joking about it, and Cat explained that for him it was fair. Hawk was surprised that Cat was a bit spoiled brat and hadn't a choice, so he told Cat that he wanted to hear it. Then Cat told him they should have stayed together, eaten together, and slept together too, and lastly, when they were on fight, Hawk didn't try to fight alone. Hearing it, Hawk stated that if Cat followed his rule since they had already been together, there was no need to make another, but Cat defended himself and informed him that it was a rule, and if Hawk followed his rules, Cat would follow his rules too. Hawk was flabbergasted and to his thoughts, if it really made a difference after all. So Hawk agreed to Cat's rule and asked Cat if they would follow each other's rule. Then Cat agreed to his rule and told him there were no exceptions to it. After that, both of them understood each other's rules, causing Cat joyfully smiling at Hawk. However, Hawk looked at the Sirius coffin and knew it was another problem. Hawk observes that it is completely intact, even after Cat's magic, and Sirius's coffin isn't ordinary at all. Hawk decided to open Sirius's coffin and check if something was there causing it to be strong. Upon observing it, Hawk suspected that it could be the resistance to magic be the influence of the vine, and judging by its shape, Hawk was reminded of the mana branch of the magicians, and thought that he might be right. Suddenly, Hawk called Cat and asked if he could do him a favor, and Cat asked what was all about. Meanwhile, in the Topaz Kingdom, a soldier had rushed towards their station commander. As he opened its curtain, the soldier informed that they had a major problem. Hearing it, Harold suggested the soldier stop making a fuss and speak it directly. So the soldier explained that it would be better if Harold saw it for himself. But then, Harold was confused what the soldier does it mean about. Shortly after, both Harold and the soldier had been looking at something, causing Harold to freeze for a while. It turns out it was Cat that turned into a giant cat, and Harold was confused why there was a giant cat out there. Harold asked if that giant cat was another variant of the world tree. So Harold turned around at one of his allies and asked what does he think about it. Surprisingly, it was Inspector Lucas, and he reasoned that his head hurt. But then Lucas checked it and explained to Harold that it was a magical creature. Mutants have the world tree growing on their bodies. Hearing it, Harold thinks that Lucas is right, and finds Cat interesting. Harold called Sergeant Jackson, and Sergeant Jackson quickly answered Harold's call. Harold instructed Sergeant Jackson to gather all the soldiers, as they were hunting down the magical creature, and Sergeant Jackson quickly obeyed it and ran toward the other allies and inform. So, Lucas asked Harold if he was sure going to take that magical creature down, to which Harold responded that he was sure about it. Harold laughed immensely and asked if Lucas was curious about how many magic stones were inside its body. But Lucas was honest about what he felt, stating that he was indeed curious about it, and asked if he could join the hunt. Harold joyfully accepted Lucas and informed him they should go now, as Harold led the way. But in Lucas's mind, he felt worried that things might be getting complicated, that at this point, he had no choice but to trust that woman. A little while before the giant cat appeared, Hawk was looking at Sirius's corpse as he was checking if there was something to it. By looking at it, Hawk was suspicious if Sirius was truly dead since all the hosts that Hawk encountered had resurrected in a powerful form after death. But in Sirius's case, he hasn't resurrected, or is there a condition to fulfill, and could it be his head was still attached? Hawk notices the vines and suspects if it's because that thing had a withstanding magic effect, and judging solely based on the shape, reminded him of a magician's mana branch. Hawk had a plan in his mind, even if it felt unsettled possible. Hawk wanted to get rid of those vines. And if his guess was right. Then, Hawk shifted his attention to Cat and asked if he could do him a favor, which Cat asked what was it all about. So, Hawk ordered to Cat try to absorb the mana from those vines on Sirius's corpse. Hearing it, Cat got pressured and informed Hawk that he couldn't do something like that. After that, both of them went silent and confused and ended was looking at each other. So, Hawk asked how could he'd been using magic all this time, and Cat explained just thought about what he wanted to do with magic, and he needed to focus really hard. In the results, the magic just happened. Cat felt sad that he always failed when he was with the black cat, and then his mood shifted to joy, stating that when he was with Hawk, it always worked. Suddenly, Hawk grabbed Cat, held its neck, and put him on Sirius's corpse, and ordered Cat to try using his magic while thinking about absorbing mana, to which Cat agreed. As Cat had placed on the coffin, and started to take out his magical power. After several seconds, Cat was full of confusion and asked why his power wasn't working. Upon observing it, Hawk wondered if there was another condition that was why Cat couldn't summon his magic powers, since Hawk saw Cat had absorbed mana and channeled it to his body. Hawk remembered those items that contain mana. First was Mana Cell, a mana storage device made by processing mana stones, and the second was the Mana Candle, a condensed chunk of mana derived from mana branches. Lastly, the world tree parasitizes the wyvern's body. Hawk recalled the time when mana had been channeling on Cat, the mana cell on his golem, which used only have its mana drained, as his golem fell on the ground. Lucas Magic's candle spear that had been melted had both the activated spell and the candle's mana absorbed. So the case of the world tree as he recalled his first encounter with an infected wyvern. Suddenly, Hawk ripped all the vines, causing Cat to be startled, as he knew that after the branch was damaged, it absorbed mana. Hawk keeps ripped all the vines, but suddenly he stopped as he knew he found it. Turns out, the world tree branch was on his chest with an engraved crystal diamond on it. So, Hawk quickly cut off the growing branch on it. After that, Hawk informed Cat that he could try to absorb the mana again, to which Cat quickly absorbed the mana on it. Because of that, the vines all over Sirius's corpse slowly began to melt. Shortly after, all of the vines and branches had turned into liquefied mana that had to be absorbed by Cat, and Sirius's body had been back to normal again. So, Hawk was glad that it was a success. But Hawk notices the thing in the center of his chest and thinks that is a magic stone. Suddenly, Cat called Hawk, causing him to quickly turn around and ask why. Turns out, Cat had turned into a giant cat and expressed to Hawk that he felt strange, which Hawk was surprised. Hawk quickly stood up and didn't know what just happened to Cat. Shortly after, Cat couldn't help himself as he was growing bigger and bigger, and Cat started to cry. So, Hawk ordered Cat to stop and informed Hawk that he was getting bigger. But then Cat explained he felt estranged and couldn't control it, that he felt hurt about it. Hearing it, Hawk advised Cat that if absorbing mana was hurting him, so he must stop holding it in, that he must use magic. All of a sudden, a woman appeared where Hawk and Cat were, and informed Hawk what he was doing to Cat was dangerous, to which Hawk was surprised. As the woman reached Cat, the woman immediately touched him and tried to calm down as she asked if he felt something wrong, and assured him that she would help him out. The woman smiled and told Cat that he should be not afraid, and that he would feel better soon. However, Hawk immediately grabbed the woman and pointed his wyvern blade at her neck, telling her to get away from Cat, and threatening if she tried anything suspicious, he would kill her. The woman got annoyed and ordered Hawk to stop, as she explained that she was there to help Cat, and ordered Hawk to put his blade down. Upon looking at it, Hawk realized that he'd seen the woman before, and recalled it was the staff from the guild that Hawk encountered last time. But then, Hawk didn't care what the woman said and asked her if she was following them. But the woman explained that she just happened to see Cat on her way. Thus, Cat called Hawk and informed him that he felt even more hurt, causing the woman to decide to expose her identity, that she was an expert in magic and magical creatures, and also knew why Cat was acting that way, as she offered Hawk that she could help Cat. So, Cat kept calling for Hawk and begging for him, and Hawk had no choice as he felt pity for Cat. But before Hawk lets go of the woman, he threatens her that if anything happens to Cat, he will kill her right away and asks if she understands. But the woman doesn't care what Hawk says and orders him to stop as she starts to feel scared of him. After that, Hawk decided to let go of the woman and put down his blade. Because of that, the woman felt safe as she sighed in relief, and Hawk ordered her to hurry and save Cat. But the woman quickly demanded to hand over all the mana cells that Hawk had. In Hawk's mind, he was eager to kill the woman but decided to keep it and handed her the mana cells, stating it was all empty. The woman quickly accepted those empty mana cells and assured him that it was exactly what she needed. Shortly after, the woman threw above the empty mana cells and cast her magic power, as she explained to Hawk that Cat was suffering from mana overload. Then it started to absorb all the extra mana that Cat had, and the woman told him that if she transferred the excess mana into the mana cells, it should return to its original form. Not long after, Cat had been back to his original size, causing it to fall, but the woman caught Cat on time, while Hawk was surprised. As she got Cat, she carefully carried it like a baby and complimented he did a great job, and she assured him that it was okay now. The mana cells were full of excess mana, and Hawk couldn't believe that the woman just recharged the mana cells with Cat's mana. But then, the woman cheerfully informed Hawk that Cat was completely fine, while Hawk received the mana cells. So Hawk immediately thanked the woman for helping them and asked who is she. Hearing it, the woman was surprised by the sudden formality of Hawk and introduced her name as Wendy, that she was a wandering mage. Hawk was baffled upon hearing that Wendy was a wanderer. All of a sudden, Harold arrived at the place and sarcastically asked if Cat was already someone familiar, causing them to get surprised. Then, the soldiers were slowly approaching them, and Hawk and Wendy were alarmed by it. Turns out, the soldiers had already surrounded and pointed their spears at them. So, Harold warmly welcomes them and introduces himself that he was a knight of the Garnet Kingdom. Harold smirked and announced they would take control of what was happening to them right now. Hawk knew they were in big trouble right now, as he thought if they were alone and could escape this situation easily. Hawk knew he's in a bad situation since Sirius's body are exposed and he can't abandon Cat and Sirius' corpse. So, Hawk had no choice and asked if Harold would arrest them, and Harold clarified that he was doing his job. Suddenly, Harold's gigantic sword speared it to the ground and informed that it was simple and needed his permission to pass through there. Hearing it, Hawk told Harold that he didn't get it, and showed his license stating that he had a permit for transnational hunting activities. Hawk explained that even the military had no authority to restrict their activity, and Wendy agreed with Hawk's explanation. Upon hearing it, Harold was sarcastically shocked and clarified if it was Hunter's license, stating that things are different now since the World Tree has appeared, and asked if was it alerted to the general public as a glowing tree. While Harold was talking, Hawk's attention shifted to Lucas, and knew that they were meeting again. Hawk wondered what was in Lucas's mind now, and what secrets he had been hiding. Suddenly, Harold's hands are close to Hawk's helmet. Turns out, Harold tried to take off Hawk's helmet and told him to not ignore him. Because of that, Hawk got annoyed and told him to take his hands off of his helmet. Noticing it, Harold got infuriated, and both of them got heated up. Then Lucas touched his hands on Harold's shoulder and told him to stop, informing him that he would possibly die at this time. So, Harold calmed himself down and quickly apologized for being rude to Hawk, while Wendy asked Hawk if he was all right. But Hawk quickly grabbed Cat and told her that he wanted to take his cat back, to which Wendy agreed. As Hawk put Cat on his shoulder, he hesitated to Wendy that he couldn't trust her. Hawk recalled that Wendy claimed to be a wandering mage, and Hawk knew she was clearly affiliated with a guild. Hawk observed and didn't know what was going on right now. What he felt about this situation and place was unsettling. However, one of the soldiers called Harold and ordered him to take a look at what he found. The soldier stated that it was a corpse, and Harold was surprised. So, Harold checked the coffin and confirmed that there was really a corpse, but Lucas knew it was Sirius on the coffin, and left speechless. Shortly after, Harold immediately called Jackson, and Jackson quickly responded to him. Harold pointed his sword at them and ordered Jackson to arrest Hawk and Wendy right now, so Jackson quickly agreed and aimed his spear at Hawk. Then, all of the soldiers aimed their spears trying to suppress them, so Hawk panicked and Wendy asked Harold what did they do. But then, Hawk told Wendy to stop acting like she was part of his entourage, and Wendy got mad and explained that she heard those people. Thus, Harold declared them criminals and suspected that Hawk gave off such murderous vibes, and asked him how many people he had killed, as he dropped if it was dozens or hundreds. Hawk teasingly asked if he didn't listen to any explanation, and explained it was the corpse of his comrade, that he was on his way back to Topaz Kingdom to bury him in his homeland. Then, Harold didn't care what Hawk's explanation was, and asked if he was supposed to believe that. Hearing it, Hawk just left speechless and didn't dare to talk back, to which Cat asked if there was another fight. However, Lucas interrupted Harold and informed what Hawk was trying to say might be true, as he explained that the corpse was wearing the same armor as him, to which Harold asked if it was true. Lucas clarified that skilled hunters naturally radiate murderous intent and suggested to let go of them. But then Harold stated that even if they pass through here, the mutants will kill them anyway. So, Lucas suggested putting them on the test, and if they were strong enough to survive even after crossing the border, and if that was the reason why they were here. Harold clarified if Lucas meant to say test them, and Hawk stated that he refused, and asked why should he be evaluated by them. Hearing it, Lucas and Harold were both surprised. However, Hawk changes his mind as an overwhelming villain aura appears, and informs Harold to dare him, that he would destroy everyone and pass through. As a result, Harold responds with a mix of pride and starts to smirk, wanting to kill Hawk. But then, Harold started to laugh uncontrollably, as his inner demons were woken up. Meanwhile, Hawk stayed unfazed about it. So, Harold pulled up his sword and challenged that if Hawk defeated him, he would pass. Harold announces to his allies that no one shall interfere, and that this is a duel of a knight's honor. Hawk puts his mana cell on his golem, and Harold does the same thing. Then, Harold announced to prepare their weapons, causing Hawk to set his golem. Hawk saw Harold's sword and wondered if it was a magic weapon. On the other side, the glowing red energy, the crazed expression, and the oversized flaming sword as Harold swung up his sword and cast to explode the hypernova. Because of that, an overwhelming power was unleashed, while Hawk was charging towards Harold. Since Hawk didn't have a sword anymore, he used the last wyvern blade of him, and both of them slashed each other's swords. But then, Hawk blades had been severed and damaged, causing it to break. Then, Harold swung his sword again and attacked Hawk, but Hawk quickly avoided the attack. Harold didn't stop there but charged again at Hawk. Luckily, Hawk immediately dodged it, causing Harold to hit the ground. Due to the strong impact, Hawk had been pushed away, as he knew that his blade was too weak, and planned to finish it using with Golem. Then, Hawk prepared his Golem and aimed it at Harold. As Hawk was about to fire it because of the overwhelming mana on his cells, causing it to go insane. Seeing it, Hawk panicked as he knew about this kind of reaction from his Golem. Suddenly, it exploded, and after that, Cat quickly stood up as tears shed on his face. Turns out, Hawk had received a lot of damage due to the explosion, and blood could be seen on the ground, to which Cat got anxious and called his name. A long time ago, a man had been struggling with something, as he was gasping for air and cursing at the same time. The man was severely injured in his side and put his hand on it to restrain the blood from coming out, to which he wondered why he ended up in this situation. The man pointed his dagger to the one who was chasing him and anxiously asked why he was doing it, and what he had ever done to deserve this suffering. Turns out, it was Hawk staring at him holding a bloody axe, while at his back were a lot of dead bodies, stating that he'd completed his investigation about him. Hawk explained that the man committed heinous crimes, and called his name Julio. Hearing it, Julio got anxious and told Hawk that he was the one committing vicious and heavy crimes. But Hawk didn't care what Julio said, and informed that it was the judgment regarding things he'd committed, and declared him to be dead. After that, Julio immediately charges at Hawk, saying that he must die first, and Hawk swings his axe toward Julio. Hawk throws his axe at Julio, and it directly hits Julio on the head. Because of that, Julio was lying on the ground lifeless, and Hawk successfully killed Julio. After seeing it, Hawk knew that his mission was complete. Not long after, Hawk left the mining area and noticed a man had been waiting for him. It was Sirius, as Hawk greeted him, and Sirius asked what happened to the mission. Hawk informed him that he killed all the people that had been listed, and Sirius believed in him. As Sirius was about to take off his helmet, he complimented Hawk that he did a good job. Hawk shifted his attention and asked what he was looking at, so Sirius suggested he must see it for himself. As Hawk looked where Sirius was looking, a lot of people were on there below, and Sirius explained that those people he saved through this mission. On the other side, a group of people could be seen. The woman was crying over joy, and the man was praising to the one who helped them, while a family had been reunited again as they hugging each other. Seeing it, Hawk had mixed emotions about what he was witnessing right now. Then, Hawk felt sad and confessed that he was afraid after all, and wondered if he just mindlessly killing again, like when he was a child soldier. But Sirius didn't sugarcoat his advice that murder is still murder, and that doesn't change what he was doing. Sirius assures Hawk that it was not meaningless after all. At the very least, he saved someone by doing it. Hearing that advice, Hawk felt relieved and quickly thanked Sirius for those words. After that, Sirius asked why he was working alone. that he already told Hawk to move in pairs, and Hawk started to stammer and didn't know how to answer it. Sirius informed Hawk that right now Lena was infuriated about what he just did. But Hawk defended himself that he just preferred working alone. But as he was talking, Lena was on his back glaring at him. Suddenly, Lena kicked Hawk out of the cliff, infuriated, saying he was a traitor. Thus, Sirius managed to cast his magic skill and tangled a mana-based rope on his waist. So, Sirius asked if she was going to kill her comrade, and Lena cursed at Hawk, explaining that Hawk deceived her, which Hawk stated that he didn't. Hearing it, Lena was even more infuriated and clarified that Hawk said the mission was tomorrow, yet Hawk went off on his own today. Then Sirius asked if it's true, and Hawk declared that he didn't lie, and just told Lena the mission was tomorrow, and he just came today, and forget to tell her. Lena was mad and asked why he was twisting the story like that since they were a team after all. But Hawk insisted that he wanted to do it alone. So Lena reminded Hawk that he was vulnerable to ambushes, and she wished that if she had an arrow she would hit him instead of a kick. Probably he'd be dead, but Hawk teased her that he didn't know how to shoot an arrow. After that, Sirius told Hawk since he was the one who got it wrong, he must apologize, so Hawk quickly apologized to Lena, and Lena told him that he was annoying. Then Sirius agreed with what just Lena said, that he was weak against ambushes, and suggested that he needed to move in Team A for the time being. But Hawk didn't take that advice seriously, and asked if there really was no way to get better at handling ambushes. Lena felt insulted and suggested that he must believe in his comrade, which Sirius agreed with Lena. But then, Sirius advises Lena to also need to learn when to be cautious of her allies. Sirius added just because someone is on her side doesn't mean they always tell the truth, and must learn to read their intentions and assess situations carefully. Because of that, Lena froze for a moment, as what Sirius said was true. Sirius stated that one of them was trusted too much, while the other refused to trust at all, and explained why he made them to a team, so they could grow together. Then, Sirius felt disappointed that one couldn't change their values and pulled out a weapon. Sirius handed it to Hawk and told him to take it. As Hawk got it, he was surprised and knew what kind of weapon it was. Sirius informed it was a golem weapon, a self-regulating magical weapon, and once he succeeded in forming a bond, it would obey his commands. Hawk quickly examined it and clarified if it was a golem weapon. Sirius added that the golem would make up for their shortcomings, and Hawk thanked Sirius for his gift. After seeing it, Lena demanded to Sirius that she needed one too. So, Sirius informed Lena that he would give her something else when they return, and Lena advised that she prefers arrows, which Sirius agreed. Sirius put his helmet back on and told them that they should go back then. Both of them agreed and started to walk away from that place. They reached the facility. Lena was joyful about her arrow, and Sirius gave Hawk a cloak, stating that was proof that he was a disciple of Sirius, which Hawk felt happy about it. Hawk was faithful to the mission of the Death Knights, and he took great pride in it. But just because someone is on your side doesn't mean they always tell the truth, while Hawk had devastated on what he just seeing. Hawk recalled those Sirius advised for Lena and thought it was for her. You must learn to read their intentions and assess situations carefully. Turns out it was Sirius who had been uncontrollably killing their comrades. Hawk couldn't believe that Sirius would do those things to the other Death Knights, and even the captain. Hawk felt discouraged and kept asking Sirius why he did that, and he couldn't help his other allies as well. Hawk gritted his teeth and thought his training was still lacking. So Hawk decided to fight back even if it's hard for him, and aimed his golem to Sirius. He suddenly woke up, raising his hands. Hawk quickly sat down and thought it was a dream or memory while he was looking at his hands. Hawk believed that Sirius was already dead, and it was a memory that didn't matter anymore. All of a sudden, Cat bumped into Hawk's face, which made Hawk surprised. Cat was grateful, stating that he had finally come back to life, and Hawk told Cat to calm down, that he never died. But then, Hawk recalled that his golem had exploded. Then, he looked around and wondered why they were in the Garnet Kingdom's camp. As Wendy entered the room while bringing some food, she was glad that Hawk was awake. However, the food that she brought suddenly fell on the ground. It turns out that Hawk suddenly grabs her neck and lifted her. So Hawk infuriated and asked what did she do to his mana cell, to which Wendy begging to spare her life. That's all for today. I'll update as soon as new chapters release, so leave a comment, subscribe and hit the bell button so you can be notified if new part had been released. Thank you and see you next time.